All right, so you're in a rut and you've set a goal for yourself. You're like, all right, I want to lose weight. And you've said to yourself, in order to lose weight, I need to do my 10,000 steps per day. I need to go to the gym. I need to do the things that are going to allow me to lose weight. But you're not doing them and you're unsure how to escape this rut. And so what I want to do in this video is share with you how I would go about completely transforming the internal state that you're feeling right now very quickly, within 7 days. In fact, within a few days. But before I go into the process, before I explain how you can get out of this rut, I need to explain what a rut really is. When I Googled the definition of a rut, this is what Google came up with. It's a long, deep track made by repeated passage of the wheels of vehicles. So imagine you have a tractor and it's going along a mud path. On this mud path, the first tractor goes along and there's literally no track there because only one tractor's gone along. The more and more times that this tractor goes along this path, the deeper the track marks become, and then it becomes a rut. When we say that we're in a rut, we're really in a state of repeated inaction towards a desired goal. But if you actually understand that a little bit further, it actually is just a state of repeated action as well. Because if you think about it, say if you have the goal of losing weight, you're like, I need to do my 10,000 steps per day. I need to eat healthy and cook healthy meals. I need to go to the gym 3 to 4 times a week. If you aren't doing those 3 things, then you're probably doing things in their place that don't act in alignment towards the goals that you've set for yourself. And so what this means is that when you are trying to get out of a rut, you're really just trying to get into another rut. But the other rut that you're trying to get into is actually just a state of action towards the goals that you've set for yourself. When we talk about getting out of a rut, when we talk about taking action and escaping this state of mind where we set these goals but we're not doing them, it's really just about creating this spark of behavior change to start doing the things that we say we're going to do. And this can take many forms and it can actually be applied to many domains of life. You have fitness, going to the gym, losing weight. You have business, creating content, or relationships and dating and getting out there and approaching people and asking them to go on dates. Now, why does this happen? Why do we get into ruts? I think, to be honest, if you were previously in a state of action, it happens because there is some external force that stops you from continuing taking that action and building on the momentum that you previously built. So let me tell you a story. Back in May, I was in Bali, and in Bali, I was working really well. I was working on my business. I was going to the gym. I was in this flow state where I was there. And in July, I had to come back because I had a few weddings in the UK. And just by coming back and taking myself out of the environment that I was in, where I was performing pretty well, I actually ended up moving into a state of inaction because I had loads of weddings. I traveled to Kenya. I came back and I was in this party mindset. And so when it came to kickstarting my business and fitness journey once again, I felt like I was in a bit of a rut because even though I set the intention of doing the things that I wanted to do to move the business forward, to work on my physique, I just wasn't doing them. This can be defined by Newton's law of inertia. What Newton's law of inertia states is that an object will remain at rest unless acted on by an unbalanced force. You can use this same logic to try and take yourself out of the rut. Because remember what we said at the beginning, a rut is just a state of inaction towards a desired goal, but also that means that we're in a state of action towards an undesired goal. And if an unbalanced force is going to take you into a rut, then an unbalanced force is probably going to take you out of a rut as well. And so when you're trying to come out of a rut, when you're trying to get going and build momentum and become consistent on your weight loss journey, then you're going to have to take some sort of unbalanced force and push it upon yourself to take yourself out of this state. And so what does this look like in practice? Let me tell you a story about a friend of mine. I was talking to my friend a while ago and he was, all right, yeah, let's go out for lunch. And this was the day before the proposed meeting of this lunch. And then on the day I messaged him, I was like, yeah, you still good for lunch? We're going to meet at Nando's. And then he was like, oh no, I can't come anymore. Just like last minute, 10 minutes before we were about to meet. The fact that he just bailed on me and he was like, yeah, like I'm not going to come anymore. Last minute, without any warning, without any reason. I just felt a bit disheartened and it broke the trust and the relationship that we had. And so when you're in a rut, you're in this deep state of inaction and you're saying to yourself, look, I want to go to the gym, I want to walk, I want to be healthy, but you keep not keeping these commitments to yourself, and it drives you deeper and deeper into that rut. Remember what we said about the tractors going over this mud path, and then every time the tractor goes over this mud path, the rut gets deeper and deeper. And so every time that you don't keep a commitment to yourself and don't take action towards the goal that you've set for yourself, the deeper that rut goes. And so in order to climb out of the rut, you need to create a commitment to yourself which is in the opposite direction to the rut that you're currently in. So back in August, when I was in this rut, I'd just come out of a few weddings, had a bit of alcohol during this time. I was feeling quite low energy. I was waking up late. I luckily started reading a book by David Goggins called Can't Hurt Me. In this book, he talked about his story where he wanted to get into the Navy SEALs. But before that, he'd been in a rut himself. He was eating bad, he got fat, he wasn't really training that much. And he looked in the mirror, he shaved off his hair, he put post-it notes, and he used to shout at himself, "You're a weak guy." That shouting, that unbalanced force took him out of the rut, because he then started keeping the commitments to himself of waking up early, going for a run, going to the gym, training hard. I can't remember the exact number, but he lost a stupid amount of weight in a very short space of time in order to get into the Navy SEALs. Although I didn't go as extreme as David Goggins, I'm not as hard as him basically. I did have a word with myself, and I was all right, Niam, it's time to climb out this rut. And so the next day I did wake up at 4 a.m. and I just kept that one commitment to myself. I'm going to wake up at 4 a.m. and go for a run. And I did that for about 30 days straight. And the reason why I did that for 30 days straight was it created this unbalanced force to take myself out of this rut. It's such a shock to the system, waking up that early every single day, even when I don't want to. It's then building another path for myself that is building the belief that I am someone that shows up. And that just flew through to the rest of my life, where I started showing up to myself with my diet. I started showing up to myself with my training. I started showing up for myself with my steps. And because of that, I was able to continue to build on that momentum. It was a complete reset, a complete refocusedness that I built within myself within 30 days, just by having this big change in my life, telling me like, wake up early and get this run done. And so when you're trying to get out of a rut, I think the best thing to do is to start with one commitment that you can make. It could be going to sleep on time or waking up on time, and you go and do that. You keep that commitment to yourself, and it proves to yourself and it builds the evidence towards the belief in your head that you're someone that keeps commitments to yourself. It's building that relationship with yourself. And because of that, in other areas of your life, when you want to go and eat healthy, when you want to go to the gym, when you want to do your steps, even though there's a little voice in your head saying, don't go and do it, telling you to continue in the rut that you're currently in, because you've kept the commitment to yourself in that one area, there is also a voice in your head that is telling you that you can actually say no, that shitty voice in your head telling you to stay the same. So I hope you enjoyed that video. I hope you found that helpful. Thank you very much for listening. This is Niam. Peace.